This video is for WordPress plugin developers, and what I'm trying to show you is how to release an update to your plugin. So you've made some changes, you're ready to release a new version to the public. So here's my plugin that I want to show you what I'm doing with. I've got it on Google Code, and that's just so I can track issues and I can have a public wiki to help show people how to do stuff. And I've fixed a couple things in my code. So back in my code, maybe I fixed a couple functions, whatever the issues were, and I'm ready to release my new version. Now there's two files you got to keep an eye on when you're doing this. One is your readme.txt, which is required for all WordPress plugins, and the other is your file that has your plugin information header. And I always put that in an index.php. Now, as you eyeball this, I'm just going to show you what this looks like back on the WordPress page. So this is where people go to download my plugin. Now it zips up a file, and the file that it zips up is based on whatever you have selected here as your stable tag. So this thing here infers a directory in your repository for tags /0.4. Okay. Now, as I release a new version here, I want to make sure that this is always pointing to a directory that exists. So even though I'm ready to release 0.5, I'm not going to change this just yet. I'm going to first go over here, and I'm going to update my version to 0.5. I've made my fixes. Off in the terminal, I'm going to do svn status, and I'm going to see that I have a couple files that have changed. I made some fixes up here in my includes folder, and now I've also changed my readme file. I'm going to make a commit dot for the current directory. I'm in my plugins home directory, and I fixed a couple things. I'm going to -m for message. I make the commit. It'll show up in the WordPress repository, and now what I want to do is I want to create the tag. I want to tag this branch. I'm going to copy the trunk to the tags directory. In Subversion, that's what a tagging operation is. It's really a copy. And if you forget what your plugin's URL is, I can always do svn info, and it will tell me what the URL is. So I'm just going to copy that. svn copy the trunk to a new directory in tags. And this is my version 0.5. So that's what I'm creating. I'll create the copy. Subversion should prompt me for a message here because I did not put it on the command line. And there it is. Fixed a couple things for version 0.5. If you want to put in ticket numbers or list out things that you fixed explicitly, that's a great place to do it. I'm just breezing through this because I want to get it committed. But once that completes, now I've created a new directory in the tags folder. So tags /0.5. Now I can go back to the readme file, and this stable tag, that acts like a trigger, and it will point the downloads to that folder. Just be careful that that folder exists. That's why we're doing this in the order we did it. If you point this to a folder that does not exist, like version 0.6 in my case, I don't have it, what I've found is it will default to your trunk, and that usually is what you think is private. You might think, oh, that's just for me, the developer, but if you screw up your tagging operation here with your stable tag, you might unexpectedly be forcing people to download the trunk, which could be disastrous. So I've created 0.5, now I update my readme file, and now I go back here to Subversion. I'm going to see, oh, big surprise, I edited my readme file. I've got a new version of it. So I'm going to do commit -m. And I update it. It commits. And now what you want to do is keep an eye on your plugin's homepage, because it may not be immediately obvious what's going on here. It may take sometimes up to an hour for this to update. But what I've noticed is that what it says here is it's pulling the information header from the stable tag. So if you forgot to update your information header, like say I forgot to update this to 0.5, this link will still package up the contents of the tag's 0.5 directory, but it will say that it's 0.4. That can be pretty confusing, so just make sure that you're also updating your informational header. And I'm going to keep an eye on this and see if this doesn't update over time. Okay, hope that helps you guys out. It's been really frustrating for me dealing with the WordPress repository because the official documentation is very poor, so I hope that this fills in some of the gaps for you guys. Cheers. Hey, this is a little postscript. It's about 15 minutes later, and I just wanted to show that yes, indeed, this finally did update. And when I download that, that's everything I just packaged up and committed before. So it is working in the process I described. Again, hope that helps. Cheers.